Good morning and welcome back to yet another day on Summit Railway. Today I'm going to mount this base plate into my secondary electrical box. We are also going to install 4 of those LGB switch motors, and I've got 3 lanterns left which I'm also going to install. Okay, this is our work site for today. I've installed a temporary work light, otherwise it's dark in here, and those are the wires which go outside to the second part of the railway station. If you haven't seen the installation of those wires and the piping and all that stuff outside, I'd highly recommend to watch the last video I've uploaded. But today we are going to install the base plate, as I told you, and then feed the wiring into the clamps. The base plate is properly mounted, and now we can tackle the wiring. To give a rough overview, currently the setup is those are the main entry and outbound signals. Then we've got the shunting signals, and there we've got the 4 switches. Down here are the track sections and the plus from as a DCC plus. And here is general power for lights and other stuff. And yeah, but I think I have to reconfigure the clamp setup right here, because when I look at this cable, it should be one of the main signals, and it's obviously too short to go over there. So maybe I have to switch those clamps around. But we will see in a second. To determine which cable goes where, I will strip the isolation, and then I will look for the number 1 wire. Two, 2, 3, 4, this is 1. And that's how I will prep all the wires, and then I can use my multimeter and measure for continuity to determine which wire is which. Right now I want to determine where this wire is going inside the box. So I will strip it and interconnect the wire number 1 with the ground wire. Like so. And now I can go inside the box and measure the continuity from those 2 wires, and then I have determined that this is the wire inside the box. Okay, now we are back inside. I've prepped all questionable wires like so. We've stripped the ground wire and the wire number 1, and now I will simply go ahead. Oh, that's easy. That's the first wire I've tried. Okay, you can see up here we've got continuity, and for example, if I go to the next wire, nothing happens, which is a good sign. And we can try a third one. Nothing happens as well, but here we've got continuity. So I know This wire is the same wire which I've hooked up outside, and now I can feed it in the box, and it's too short. That's a shame. So since this wire was too short to reach over here, I've moved the clamp setup down here. This will work fine also. This is the wire in question. I've now taken my track plan and I've determined it's the signal 410, and that's nice to know. Now I will go ahead and shorten the wire. Remove the shell, and since this is a shunting signal, it will only use 4 wires instead of 5. So to prevent any confusion, I've cut wire number 4, and now we can go ahead and strip the wire. And then feed it into the clamp setup. Okay, that's it. No, that's not it. I need to mark the wire. This is what it looks like when it's said and done. We've got the clamp set for the shunting signals, and this is signal 410, and it is installed. So now I can see at a glance which signal is where. This system I will repeat until I've determined every single wire that's down here. So nothing to it but to do it. Okay, here is a little update before I go to lunch. The wiring mess has cleaned up a good bit. I've determined all the shunting signals, the main signals, the switch motors. I've also already installed the power supply for the lights. It's the same one than in the big signal box. So I've got the same system twice. Up here is the general power supply, and down here that's what's left to do, are the different track sections, which you can see right here. It's this bundle. I needed to feed the wires through this wooden contraption to separate them, and then I can plug them in, into those connectors. I am back from the lunch break, and now it is time to determine which of those wires goes to which track section, and then we can feed them through this contraption, wire them inside this clamp, and then mark them. Okay, I want to know which track section wire is this switch, and to determine that I'm going to clean the track. Like so, and then I'm bridging both rail profiles with this brass piece of pipe. So in theory now we have a short, and I will use this connection to measure continuity inside the box. Now we are back inside the electrical box. As you remember, outside at the tracks I've bridged both track profiles, so we've got a short between this circuit and that circuit. And now I'm going to use my multimeter on continuity test, and I can simply test continuity until I'm finding the certain track section I'm looking for. And there it is, maybe. Let's see. Yes. Or no. I've fiddled with my original plan a good bit, but somewhere I'm getting some false readings. So I've changed my plan. This is what my new test setup looks like. We've got a tiny power supply which is wired up to the track feeders. The red one is the continuous track, which has no interruption and no isolating connectors. And right here I will plug in one track section at a time. So in theory there should be only one track section powered. And then I can go outside to the tracks and measure with the multimeter if I got any voltage or not. First I'm going to pick a random track section and then I will plug it into the connector. And now I will turn on the power supply, and in theory only this track section should be powered outside. So let's go to the tracks. And now I can simply go ahead and measure every single track section. This one should be powered right now. That's the only one. Yes, indeed. We've got 21.5 volts. But that's not the track section I'm looking for, because this one I've already wired up. So let's have a look right here. Oh, there it is. Here we've got 21.5 volts. So that's the track section we've powered right now with the little power supply. Back at the electrical box, this is the wire we've plugged in. So I know that this wire goes out to the track section we've just measured. And now I can go ahead and wire it properly so that it looks nice. This track section does not need to go through the wooden block, so I will go ahead and plug it in right here. Now I got it. Okay, that's that. About an hour later, this is done. It worked out great. I was able to clearly determine which track section is which, and now I've marked them all. So later on the wiring process will be way easier. So this is nearly done. We've only got 4 wires left. 2 of them go to my DCC central station, and the other 2 are directly from the main power supply, 24 volts. So 2 of these go right here and the other 2 go up here. Last but not least, we need to install the door. Let's have a last look before I close up this box. The door is fitted and you've already seen all the wiring. It's nice and tidy. Not as tidy as my main box, but I'd say it's sufficient for a garden railroad. And now we can close this bad boy up and go outside and install some lights and switch motors and so on. Alright, next step will be to install this LGB switch motor on 4 of those switches in this area. So first things first, I will scrape the dirt out of the switch so it can move. Okay, the switch motor is fixed in place. Now we need to install the wires. This one. That's it, we are ready to backfill. All 4 switch motors are installed. There's 1, 2 and 3. And of course here's the 4th one. Down here you can see a loose wire above the ground. This wire is supposed to power those lanterns, which I'm going to install next. The lanterns are wired. Now comes the most important question. Are they going to work? I hope you can see, but they clearly work. Man, that looks nice. Now that I'm certain that these lanterns all work, I can go ahead and backfill, and then we will be done for today. And with the backfilling done, we are ready to tackle the next project. I hope you have enjoyed this one, and we will see us in the next video. Bye!